Can you play Guild Wars 2 on the ROG Ally? And should you? Or perhaps the bigger question is, does it feel like a real PC experience, or is it a compromised one? Here, I've got the Ally running at 30 watts in turbo mode, with the in-game resolution set to 1080p. I'm using a 144Hz monitor, but for this test I've capped the frame limiter at 60 FPS. On the bottom left, you'll see I'm mostly hitting that 60 FPS, with a few drops when turning the camera quickly. Menus are responsive, loading zones are fast, and the user interface doesn't stutter at all. The fan noise is noticeable, but it's honestly not a problem. My desktop was idling nearby and its fans were louder than the Ally in turbo mode. Throw in a pair of headphones and you won't even notice it. The temperatures hovered between 85 and 90 degrees Celsius, which is hot, yes, but it's not alarming. I'd only be concerned if it pushed over 95 degrees Celsius for long periods. So, is this playable? Absolutely, especially for PvE content like map exploration, story missions, and even instanced content like dungeons and fractals. Here are the settings I used. Textures I set to high. Shadows, low. Reflections I put on terrain and sky. Render sampling is on native, and LOD distance is on medium. With these settings, the Ally feels similar to the mid-range gaming laptop I used a few years ago. Just be mindful of thermals, especially in crowded areas like Lion's Arch. But let's say you mostly play PvP or World vs World and you want more than 60 frames per second. Can the Ally do that? Yes, but at the cost of visual quality. Here, I've set the frame limiter to 144, and I'm getting over 120 FPS almost constantly. That said, I tested this in an empty map, so your mileage may vary. Personally, I prefer 60 FPS, even in competitive game modes, so here's how I balance visuals and performance. Set the frame limiter to 60 FPS. Choose the best appearance preset. Then, turn reflections to terrain and sky. Shadows and shaders are set to medium. And if you're noticing screen tearing, then turn on VSync. Now, let's switch to handheld mode. Here, I'm using a 25-watt turbo profile with in-game settings set to best appearance and the frame limiter at 60. I'm mostly hitting 60 frames per second, but with noticeable drops during combat and busy areas. That said, temperatures stay low, around 80 degrees Celsius, which is very impressive for a device that's only slightly larger than a smartphone. And on the smaller screen, this honestly looks fantastic. By the way, if you're wondering how I'm playing Guild Wars 2 using the Ally's controllers, you'll need to launch the game through Steam, which enables Steam's built-in controller support. There are also other ways to do this outside of Steam if you prefer. I'll cover all the setup options in a dedicated video, so subscribe if you're interested. What if you want even higher FPS in handheld mode? Try turning the resolution down to 720p. Here, I used the auto detect preset and was hitting a solid 120 FPS capped by the Ally screen. But can we make it look better while keeping the same performance? Let's find out. Let's cap the FPS at 120. Use the best appearance preset. Set environment to low. This tier looks very sharp on the small screen. The LOD distance we can set to low. Reflections off. Shadows are optional, but I turned them off. I set the shaders to medium. The character model limit and quality both are set to medium. And finally, I set animations to medium. These settings gave me a locked 115 to 120 FPS. You can still tweak things like character model quality if you want more detail, but honestly it looks fantastic on the Ally screen at 720p. So, would I recommend playing Guild Wars 2 on the ROG Ally? Yes. In docked mode, you get a smooth 60 FPS experience with great visuals. And if you're just grinding dailies, doing world completion, or farming world vs world on the couch while your family watches TV, handheld mode is more than capable. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to learn more about how to set up controller support for Guild Wars 2 on the Ally, then make sure to subscribe. That tutorial is coming soon.